Where's Doug? There they are. Looked different when I was doing it in my head. Ooh. I wanted to get a nice position for you guys with the camera, but this roof of the container is very wobbly. And I'm not so good at standing still. Although I need to stay in my place because otherwise I might drop down from this container. So a lot of you guys were wondering the last 2 years why we bought a digger that every time needs maintenance and stuff that needs to be fixed. Basically, we bought it for this, making terraces on this property. The first terrace I paid somebody else to do it. This was about 700 or 800 bucks. Of course, every man wants a digger. And when I was looking for a digger, I rather had an old machine that you can still do stuff yourself on, instead of one of those newer machines where you always have to almost have an electrician to maintain your digger. And I'm under the impression that no matter what you bought, there would have been like maintenance on it. Diggers in Portugal are pretty expensive. We only paid 4,000 for Doug from the scrapyard, but this also meant that there was a lot of stuff that needs to be done on Doug. But we knew that before we started, or I knew that. But if it wasn't for Richard showing up, I think Project Doug would have gone abandoned at some point. As you may remember, we had some transmissions issues in the beginning, and I think if we didn't have Richard, then that might have been already the point that the digger have gone back to the scrapyard. Although you never know what happened, and luckily it turned out like this. I think if I would have bought a 20,000 euro digger, we wouldn't have had this whole experience with Richard and like trying to fix machinery, in which I also learned a lot of stuff. So yeah, I wanted something to make terraces on this land, and the rest of the land also will be terraced at one point. But now we have 2 plateaus, and in a couple of months we can start, when it's cooling down a bit, we can start building, well, finishing the first wall that we started the first 10 meters of. And Doug will have some more maintenance, because a lot of you guys were already happy that Doug is running again, but when Richard leaves, Doug is going to need more maintenance. We have one more piston, macaca, that needs to be repaired, and that should be one of the last oil leaks we have. We started out with at least 8 different oil leaks when we bought her. and slowly we're getting them all fixed. And this is something you can expect with an old digger, because the thing is 40 years old, and the last couple of years that it was still running, working for somebody, they didn't spend much because the machine was for them near their end of life cycle. But we gave Doug a second life. Maybe Rich and me should start a digger sanctuary. Doug is a big machine, which is basically only good for big work. And I was discussing with Richard, we love to have a little bit of a smaller machine also, to do some smaller work. Richard is now working on a road to go down to the bottom of the land, but he cannot get the corner right. It's a little bit too sharp. So we'll let Richard tinker away at that for a little bit more. So as you may or may not know, this whole terrain here, the idea is to get people to stay here. In the beginning, mainly volunteers. But as you know, there's not much facilities here, although we have internet. And there's electricity hookup and a water hookup up there. But for the rest, there is basically nada. Although it's very hot, it's also nice and windy here. So we're going to need volunteers to help with renovating the rest of the village. So it's basically one of the first necessities to have some facilities for volunteers, so they can help me do other stuff. So I explained already that the wall we started once over there, it's going to be coming over here, next to this pile here. And then eventually it also will continue on the back side of the ruin where Richard and Doug are. But this part, as soon as we have the wall here, I want to make it sort of, it's going to be an open area, but there's going to be a roof. And I want to have sort of an outside kitchen area and some sort of shower and toilet facility. So as you may remember, very much in the beginning, we were trying to make a wooden structure over there, which would do sort of the same thing, have like a shower and a toilet facility. But now I want to do it here, so that like you can like maybe park an RV up there, and then you have here a nice terrace where you can sit, and where is sort of the kitchen and the surface area is like on the same level as the terrace above. It's getting hot and I'm forgetting my story. Basically, first the wall is going to come here, and then later we're going to see how we're going to construct something here so it sits sort of against the wall, that you have a nice shaded area here with a cover. We can hang out and take a shower from the dirty work. Yeah, that is a bit of sharp corner. It does slope nicely down like that. amateur hour here. Can we go already? You're being very smelly. You're good. Yeah, those cacti are nasty. You just have to point at them and you already get like a spike in your finger. Should have brought some gloves. These pedals have all like grown into the tarp. What do you guys think? It's a hassle to get rid of these cacti. We have some behind the shed there that are under plastic, but they just start fermenting, and it would take years, I think, before under this plastic they would be dissolved so much that they wouldn't grow anymore. So we dug this a while back, but we don't need it. And Richard was wondering where he could put the cacti. So I thought of this. Without sunlight, they should not be able to grow, right? Let's see. It's gonna be a longer project to see if it's gonna grow. Place your bets.
I thought, oh, that's all right, I'll just shovel them in.
Yeah.
I put the shovel in, one's got me there and on the finger. Oh,
Poor Richard.
just flew straight at me. Swines. So I thought, fuck it, you'll have to take the plastic out yourself.
I did already. They were all growing into the plastic.
Yeah.
What do you think the chances are?
I don't think they'll grow.
No?
No, not. Because they're, like you said, they're not going to get any sun. And they're going to get minimal water because you're now putting them in there the driest time of the year. think there's so much of it.
Every last bit of it, Richard.
Yeah.
Otherwise they're gonna grow back.
Yeah.
Oh, missed that one. Parking brake of the quad is not optimal. Stay. Hey girls. Stinky, stinky, stinky. So today is already the last day that Doug is going to be operational. We did quite a lot. Richard did quite a lot. But we need to take a piston off from the steering. If you remember the last time Richard was here, we couldn't get it off. It was the steering ram on the left. So we have a new steering ram on the right, or that's all fixed. But the one on the left we still need to take off now, so Doug is again not going to be operational for a while. I think and I hope, if the missus permits Richard, that he will be back in September, when we're going to do the big project on the other land. So I should be able to get the piston fixed before that. What did you do? What's with the leg? What's with the leg? So I'm gonna take the piston out with Uncle Richard still. Probably see that in the next video. And then the girls and me are also gonna take a trip. So I want to modify Vanessa a little bit. You'll probably also see that in the next video. Uncle Richard agreed to do the podcast. So tomorrow, before he's leaving, day after tomorrow, when he's leaving, just before, we're gonna record the podcast. Escaping the red race. Knowing Uncle Richard and me, will probably divert into a lot of other subjects also. So but that's probably gonna be on the main channel only in like 2 weeks time or something. So keep an eye on that. The main channel is linked in the description. And if you want to keep updated, also for this channel, you could take a subscription if you want.